So let's go your top 5 players in the game today in terms of being good win players.
Good, solid win players. And it's a little different, Lisa, with the newer balls that spin less than the old Balata ball. The player, it's more about hitting it really solid. You don't have to worry about flighting it down quite as much. And you know what? When you look at solid ball strikers, well, there's really not much better than Sergio Garcia. Just playing fantastic in the wind time and time again. And you know what? At the Masters, in those high winds in round number 1, he went bogey-free. Boy, that is tough to do in those kind of conditions. But you think about the Open Championship and how close he's come a couple of times to getting one of those. I think Sergio will get another major in his career, and it will come in some high winds at the Open because of that solid ball striking.
Love that piercing ball flight.
Yeah.
We'll see him in the players next. Number 4.
Speaking of the Open Championship, I'm going with Henrik Stenson as my 4th guy because same reason. Hits it so solid, and we saw what he did last year. He and Phil, of course, distancing themselves from the rest of the pack, but I love his ball flight. It is really not much spin on it. It cuts through the wind very nicely, and again, you talk about time and time again hitting that solid iron play, and he's struggled a little bit this year, but I expect Henrik Stenson to get back playing the kind of golf we saw mainly in windy conditions because he is so solid in those tough
Well, and
conditions.
it's so impressive. He does have a higher ball flight, but as you mentioned, the wind doesn't touch it when he's on. Number 3.
Number 3 is I'm going with Rickie Fowler for a couple of reasons. I think Rickie Fowler, you look at what he did at the Honda Classic, how well he played. Those are difficult, windy conditions. And when you go around the PGA National and have as fewer bogeys as he's had the last couple of years, that speaks to how solid your ball striking is. And you know what? Florida, that part of Florida, that time of year is known for its winds as well. So Rickie Fowler, no slouch in the wind. And guess what? He's come close at an Open as well. So, you kind of look at those barometers, but I like Rickie Fowler's game in those high winds.
And such a great putter, too, which
Indeed.
Putting in the wind is very difficult.
Yes.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Jordan Spieth. You look at his game and you go, okay, well, he doesn't have the power that some of these other players have, but he won the SBS Tournament of Champions by just 8 shots. And those wins, we know, very high. He played well at St. Andrews when he had a chance to win 3 majors in a row a couple of years ago. Jordan Spieth, the solid iron play, he really hits his irons much better than people give him. Last year, he did struggle with that, but he's back on it. We saw him at Augusta National and put himself right there again to win another Masters. So Jordan Spieth is this really, really solid win player.
Well, now I'm really confused because the top 4 players in the official World Golf ranking, none of them.
Well,
you haven't chosen any of them.
No, I haven't. And the guy that is, I think, the best win player is this guy right here, Adam Scott. Not to knock any of these guys' solid ball striking, but sometimes their ball can get a little spinny, and this ball does not get spinny. This ball is just beautifully struck time and time again. He has the best swing in the game, and it produces some of the best iron shots in wind. Not in wind, but Adam Scott has played fantastic at the Open. He's played fantastic in difficult Australian conditions where the winds get very high as well. But I love that golf swing, and I love Adam Scott when it gets windy.
And his tempo never changes. A big part of why he does so well in the wind. Thanks, Tripp.